We're back. Our enthusiasm is low, but we're back with Red Hill Racing Podcast, and we survived a race weekend. Dustin has practically lost his voice from talking all weekend, and I don't know, I guess I'm on the up and up from my sinus infection battle, I would say. Anyways, welcome back to Red Hill Racing Podcast. I'm Ben Knight here with Mr. 40-time champ, who's off to a good start. What's up, Dustin?
I'm a little rough sounding. I'm rough. I talked too much over the weekend.
Sound worse than I do, and I was the one that been, I guess you call it sick. I don't know. I don't call sinus infections, but
it seems like XDA does this to me. I guess it's because so many people come by the trailer and I talk to them and all that stuff that
you're famous.
the old vocal cords are like, brah, shut up. You know, so here I am. I sound like I've got a biscuit caught in my throat or something. I say biscuit because I'm fat and I eat a biscuit just a little bit ago. So
nice.
Tamara had supper ready, but I just come in from unloading my box and I grabbed a biscuit and a cup of water and said, I'll be back. And I come upstairs.
Damn, we made you miss dinner again?
Yeah, well, that's why they make microwaves. Right. And I mean, obviously I can probably afford to miss a meal. So.
Oh man. All right. Well, we're definitely going to do a bunch of XDA recap, but we want to say we're tired. It's not safe for work. Who knows? I think I already said shit. So sorry, guys. Not safe for work. And we got to thank our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be able to afford to do this. And without you guys listening and donating to the subscription, we wouldn't be able to do this, or we wouldn't want to. That's for sure.
Well, I don't mind doing it, but it couldn't pay for itself. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. We're all good though. We appreciate all the support. Everybody's helped us out.
There was a ton of feedback this weekend. Tons.
That was what was so cool, man. Honestly, that's why I got up for this tonight. You know, I was like, man, it'd be nice to take a week off. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like, it's like, man, like after these races and you got to think Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I didn't get home until Monday at 7 in the morning. So I didn't even go to sleep like all night. I drove all night. So it's a long ordeal and we're tired. And then I barely made it through yesterday and I died in my sleep and then come back to life today. And I felt like a new man minus my voice.
Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, the amount of feedback we had last weekend was awesome. We appreciate everybody that stopped us, you know, and told us what you thought. And I don't think I heard one complaint, but I was overwhelmed by the amount of people that enjoyed just listening to the podcast and gave us great feedback. So that's definitely I was excited to do it after I was initially like, man, it'd be nice to take a week off. I was like, nah, everybody's so amped about it. That just kind of gave me the energy.
It was the same for me. All good feedback. Had a few ask me for us to do vidjas. They wanted they wanted to see our ugly mugs.
Y'all don't want to see us this week, trust me.
Well, I mean, I probably still look like a stud that I am, but
all right.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I am pretty and all, but you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's just easier to not have to worry about if I get a boogie, I can pick my nose and not nobody see it. You know what I mean? So
maybe when we do the live stuff.
Yeah, we need to do that for sure.
I've got some digging to do, but I have some ideas and stuff. So once we decide when and we're going to do a live one, that might be when you get to see our other mugs.
You know, our brains say, oh, we can do this. And then we get to the track. And for me, I'm like, I mean, if anybody drove by my trailer, there was always somebody there, always. And there's so many, like, even I thought, you know, oh, it's raining. Well, then it was cold and it was just nasty. And we all kind of ran to our campers and Darnell was out. And we just didn't, you know, we just didn't do it live. I'm sorry. But
it sounds easy in theory, like you were saying, but I don't know.
I mean,
we're just all in it. It's just not part of our routine. That's the thing.
Yeah, and we were very excited to see people that we hadn't seen and try to hang out and touch base. And you know, we did our Foxy Fish, and we had Little Walker there, and everybody was seeing him. And you mean that was your first time actually having him at a race, so that's kind of different and getting used to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we just
variables.
Yeah, we just thought, you know, oh, we can do that. And It just flew by. Like, I mean, it was long for sure, but it flew by. I guess we got to take care of our laundry duties, and then we can. I guess we can start at the front.
Dive
Yes,
deeper into it.
start at the first part and carry our way through.
For sure, for sure. Well, as always, thank you to our awesome sponsors, Worldwide Bearings, MPS Racing, who Dustin probably got in Dan's pockets this weekend. We'll get to
Did
that. Our dudes, Dustin and Eric at Penske Racing Shocks.
yes.
Nice of for me to finally meet those guys. Really cool dudes out
They got
there.
some Red Hill Racing koozies, didn't they?
Yep,
Cool.
yep, they
Yeah.
did. I dropped the ball. I think I said last week I was going to bring them all over there, and honestly, I forgot. But I did hook Dustin and Eric up with those. So that was cool. And like I said, just putting a name to a face. Those guys were out there all weekend. You know,
Rebuilding shocks, man, at the
yeah,
track. Ain't that awesome?
yep, yeah, that was really cool. So, and I'm telling y'all, like after meeting those guys, Dustin knows them. But just after meeting them face to face and talking with them for a while, I mean, they're just as excited about this as we are. I mean, not the podcast per se, they are, but just the sport in general. So them making sure they're out there to get you right. That's pretty cool. So they're definitely, passionate about it, I guess is what I'm trying
Very.
to.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was for some reason thinking like ambitious, but
Hmm.
passionate is the
Yeah.
word.
Yeah. Which, that's what you want, when you're dealing with people selling products. So, they're passionate and that's cool. So shout out to those guys. Of course, MTC Engineering, Eric couldn't make it. He'd
Missed
just
him.
come. Yeah, he'd just been at Man Cup. We get it. Ralphie was there of Platinum General Services. Ralphie handed out $1,000 cash on the awards ceremony. Well, I guess that was Sunday. I was going to say Saturday, but the award ceremony. So cold hard cash. Shout out to Ralphie and Platinum. Schnitz Racing got to talk with Trevor briefly and then Ryan for a little bit. So just need to get old Dave out here sometime, but it's good to
Got to
see
get
the
Dave back
boys.
to the track.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out Schnitz. Kevin Manchester Mines. Man, Kevin started rolling there in Pro ET there for a while with his
691 in Pro ET. Ain't that crazy?
And to be honest, he was struggling really probably the first couple of rounds to get that thing kind of dialed in. I mean, come eliminations for top sportsman, he unfortunately turned it red first round. But he didn't have it dialed in even at that point, dude. And like I was talking to him, and I don't know how he does it because I struggled going fast on my bike, and he was ripping it off. Yeah, like you said, he got down to what 691. Is that
The
right?
round that he lost in Pro ET was a 691, and I'm sure it was over 200 mile an hour.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
But keep that in mind. Kevin, like we said, we've talked a little bit. He does the frame short neck services. He's a phenomenal welder. It's kind of funny how many great welders we know and have in this sport. But Kevin's great at that. Does great fork services. So just anything like that, hit him up. And he's a racer just like us. That's the cool part.
Obviously, he's a good racer and a rider because he
Yeah.
went rounds.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that's not easy to do on a fast bike. I'll get into that later.
They could use to ride a pro street bike.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Montgomery Motorsports. Oh, we are up to Hard Times Parts and Service, Night Marketing Group, Energy Coil, University of Wind, and certainly not. I done messed it up. See, I'm tired. Last but certainly not least, there we go. Mike Burkhart from BMF Motorsports. He was out there racing his grudge bike. Got to catch up a little bit with him, not near as much as I wanted, but
Yeah, he come by and got some shirts. And just a note, Harvey, where were you at? You wasn't
yeah.
at the race, man. I had your seat pan.
I wonder what happened to Harvey.
I don't know.
He was gonna be there.
I need to message him and see what's up. Maybe the rain scared him away.
I hope not. Hopefully it's nothing big, but shout out to Harvey. He's a listener, a subscriber. He won the seat pan from BMF Motorsports, so we'll get that to him. He was supposed to be there, so
I'm gonna message him right now. I'm gonna be like, "Where you at, man? Where was you at?"
yeah, tell him we're talking about him as we record. So yeah, shout out to all our sponsors. Like we've said many times, they support the show, whether it's through monetary or giveaways, and that's how we kind of came up with the whole subscribe and be entered to give or blah be entered in our giveaways for as little as $1. So if you haven't signed up, pretty cool deal. Just $1. If you want to do more, great. So moving on. Sorry, I would maybe be a little more enthused. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I got my ass kicked this weekend. On just about every regard of the weekend. About the only win was having my family there, so that was cool. Never had Walker's my firstborn, so it's the only chance I've had. But it's definitely different. I know all you other parents know, but it's pretty cool to get back from the trailer and see your little man or little girl running around, and he's
Yeah,
not running yet, but you
he's
guys
just
get the
smiling
idea.
and
He's
drooling like,
smiling, yeah.
Dad.
Yeah, so even after I lost, it was still pretty cool. Even
Let
had
me
my
tell you
dogs there.
something. Ben has a very happy son. Like the only time he's cranky is when he's hungry, and he probably
Yeah.
gets that from his daddy a little bit,
I was gonna say,
maybe his
don't you say
mama.
mama? This from me, probably.
Yeah, yeah. And anyway, like every time I was around him, and I actually held him, and I hadn't held a kid. I might have held one of Spencer's maybe briefly,
Probably
but
not.
man,
They're always mean mugging us.
yeah, he was
I love y'all. I'm just saying.
he was awesome. Like I was holding him, and a customer walked up the door, and we looked at him, and he said, "What do you want?" And he held out money, and Walker just like drooled, like, "Yeah, I want that." So
Give
it
me
was
that
pretty,
cash.
yeah. So it was pretty cool, you know. And he's a good kid, man. He's gonna
Thank
be
you.
awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, well, he's got a good mama, so that helps out a lot. Yeah, it was different. So I guess I'll even take a step farther back. Got there early Thursday so I could work with Mac and test the new Rowdy 460 bike. And honestly, we just still had issues with it. Mac had everything ready to go and went up there to do a burnout. Mac was going to do a burnout. We were going to cool it off. 20 minutes because it's a brand new tire, do another burnout, and Mac was going to send it on down through there. Well, we didn't even make it through the first one. It just didn't sound right in the burnout. So we took it back, and long story short, the air fuel was just, it was completely rich. It actually basically blackened his bright green lower side panel on the exhaust just from the burnout.
Yeah,
And I don't know much about cars, but anyways, he's still got carbs on that bike with a Firestorm. And I guess there was something, the short and sweet is there was something wrong with the carbs that he wasn't able to fix. So it kind of ended 460 really quickly before it got started for me. But Mac, he'll get it figured out, and we're gonna go test sometime,
yeah.
hopefully
I
soon,
talked to
and
him
get
today a
going.
little bit, and
Hmm.
he said he's gonna get them babies dialed in, so it'll work out.
Yeah. And I mean, trust me, he's more worried about getting that bike going than I am, and I don't mean that in a bad way. He's just, he wants it done, and he wants it running good, and so he'll get that figured out. So my 460 debut will have to wait. We'll push that to another weekend. Um, then kind of spent that rest of that day trying to get Mac's other bikes going. His sportsman bike he had issues with. So Mac had a little bit of a rough weekend after getting good news about him being cancer free. So shout out to Mac for beating that and getting to hang out all weekend.
Yeah, I was
Logan
helping him
excited
on
about
the
that.
top sportsman bike, and he was Mac ain't one of them people that just showed up and wasn't prepared. He'd worked all winter long to
Oh
get
yeah,
everything ready, and he was bummed that your ride was messed up, and then the top sportsman bike was messed up. And I said, you know what? There's one thing you can't be bummed about. And I said, you ain't got cancer, man. And he goes, you're right. You're right. I was like, you
that's
always
right.
got to look at the bright side, brother. So me and Matt
That's
got to
right.
hang out more than usual this weekend because I was trying to help him with that and, a few
Yeah.
other things. So he'll get it. He ain't got no quit in him. So
Oh no, that's the thing. He's going to get it done. Shout out to Logan Matthias for helping us
yeah.
out with the top sportsman. I'll get to Logan a little bit more later on. Probably
Me too.
not too far down the road. Anyways, Logan, I don't even know where he just appeared out of nowhere and was just like, "What y'all having trouble with?" It was some
Well,
electric.
Logan come straight from work to the racetrack, and he was waiting on his dad to show up with the rig. So he was just like hanging out,
Yeah.
with his people,
Well,
So
he got right to work. He even sat there and finished it as we went and enjoyed Foxy Fish. But I owed that to Tiffany. I promised her I'd take her, and I just, as much as I wanted to
and we had a good
stay
dinner and a
there and
good
help,
time.
I told Mac, I said I'll be back in 2 or 3 hours, and if it's still having issues, we'll fix it tonight. So, but when we got back, Logan had fixed that. So moving on to, I guess, Friday. Um,
Ooh,
for
bad
me,
day.
I rolled the top sportsman bike out. Made I think the first pass, I think I went like 755 at 192.
Yeah,
Yeah, that sounds right.
too
Um,
fast.
my what'd you call it, Dustin? What do you call it? My
What?
the Ben special, the clutch handle.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
You were
it's the
saying it was
second.
special for me, or
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
it's
special.
it's been handy. It's your crutch or something. I don't know what you want to call that thing. It works great for what XDA. Like
So
I
my clutch handle that I had Eric make up that's just holding the two step. That thing worked flawless. I mean, that first pass I was 014. Yeah, 014 on the tree, 755, 192. Said, yeah, it's an bit fast. It's gonna be a little hard to judge other people. So we slowed it down a hair, made a couple
not for
changes.
Kevin. Kevin didn't. He
I
didn't.
know. Yeah, that's why I was saying Kevin's a beast.
Yeah.
Kevin might be the only and I don't know, I have to talk with Kevin more, but you know. I, I've said it before, and Dustin says it too. I kind of try and pride myself in my finish line game, if you so call say.
Those
Um,
speeds take that shit away a little bit. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
hard. Yeah, it's hard. And
Yeah.
I don't hardly know many people that can judge much over 25, 30 miles an hour, at least with some consistency. So either Kevin is it's supernatural and has a super rare talent, or I don't know what's going on, but he doesn't have trouble. Anyways, I wanted to slow it up a little bit. So it did, started working on that. Then we went into the gamblers race. I rode my brother's bike. I actually had a excuse me, had a small hiccup, fixed that beforehand. I felt good riding it. But I just couldn't hit the tree. And what I mean, I was hitting it consistently. I was just consistently bad. I was like 77, 81, 100, 80, 80. I mean, I was in that wheelhouse. I just wasn't making the correct changes. And ultimately, the gambler streak ended. So I went from I hadn't lost. I won three in a row, and the last one got stopped at second round or third round. I
Yeah,
think
I
at the
wish.
last one. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was going on give or take 3 or 4 race wins, and it ended. It ended third round Friday night. Thought I took a swing at it. I actually told my opponent because I know him, and we was joking. I said it's probably going to be a red light or a really good light, and it was neither. I think I was like, well, I think I was 80 again. Needless to say, that did not get the job
I
done.
don't
So I
have no
stopped.
sounds on my phone, but
Yeah, yep. But like I said, I was consistent. So
yeah,
that
yeah. I
was
mean,
that.
you actually had really phenomenal lights on that bike with that new setup. I just think that it's a new setup, and you just got to get like the whole bike
You
itself.
talking about Stevens?
Oh yeah, sorry, I
Yeah,
was thinking
no.
about the other one. No,
Yeah, I was
Steven's
gonna say
bike.
I want
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, well, you started using the two step on that bike
yeah.
that weekend, so it's kind of new too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because we weren't sure about the tuning, a few, or no, the dash. That's what it was, the dash. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You had no dash to see your RPM. I said just turn the two step on, use it.
yeah,
You know,
yep. I was
and
trying to
it
remember
did
how that
it
went.
did work good. Like it
Hmm.
didn't do anything wrong. And then
It
shout
was
out to
consistent
Eric.
as can be.
Eric cleaned your tune up a little bit for you with the max, and
Hmm. Yep.
everything got good. And then you just didn't get enough laps to get it. I wish I could cut bad lights on bottom bulb. I can't get that. A bad
Well,
light fool.
I mean, yeah, you're right. So that was kind of the rest of the story. Eric, he helped me out a little bit, and you helped me out, same wire that up the two step real quick because it was there. I mean, that we've had a delay box on there for SDBA, so it was easy. I just
Yeah,
had to think
just
about
two
it.
wires. Yeah.
Yep. So got that going. Bike ran great. I mean, that sucker was running 850s on motor. It wasn't Friday. It's not like it was like mine shaft cool or anything. It was kind of warm.
Oh, it was terrible. I mean, it
Yeah.
was Friday. Friday was the hottest day, right? It was
Hmm.
88 degrees or some shit. Like it was.
I couldn't
It
remember. It
didn't
just
feel
felt
like
hot.
April. You know, in
Yes.
Maryland.
Yep. So just didn't have no luck, but as Dustin said, we'll get it figured out. I mean, I was consistent on it. I just gotta make the changes, get my lights better, and figure out if make a few tweaks. Do you want to talk about your Friday? You want me to keep rolling with my crappy
Well,
weekend?
we'll do the days together. So I'll go give
Okay.
that way. It gives me and my voice a break. Like I ain't gotta just stretch it all out.
All right. So that was my
So
Friday.
well, so Thursday, I got there and I did buy a test, and I made 2 laps on the top sportsman bike, and I just left the cool weather tune up from Brainerd in it from SDBA because I knew Sunday on race day it was going to be cool weather, and I wanted to just not wheelie and try to act up. So I knew it would be slow because I was pulling a bunch of timing out, and it went like a 98, 798 off the trailer. I think I was 004 red. And let me get my ticket here. Yeah, 004 red. And then I made another hit, and it went a 792 and had O2 light. And I said, man, I'm good. So I just parked it. And Friday come along, and man, I've not won or even passed third round in the Gamblers race in 3 years. And I'm like, this, potentially I thought about riding my top sportsman bike in the Gamblers because for some reason I race it better. I don't know why, but I decided not to because I did make a motor pass when I first got there to check my tune up before I sprayed it. And when it's geared for nitrous, so I crossed the 8th mile in third and I plugged fourth, and it was just like, boo, like it couldn't, like it was pulling the gear, but I didn't even get into fifth. And I'm like, man, that's just kind of, that's not cool. So I made the decision to ride the bracket bike again. But I did tell myself I wanted to use the 2-step, and that could have been a problem. But I won first round, and second round I was 0-1 red, and the curse continues. I mean, I know what I need to do. I'm going to have to just make some changes to the bike because 90% of my losses in the past probably year and a half has been red lights, and it's probably mostly my fault because I don't chill out. I want to kill it every time, but I'm going to have to do something at this point. So I'd rather be 0-4 and have a chance than to be red, every once in a while. So I'm going to make a little bit of a change and try to get myself some adjustment. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do something. And yeah, so that was our Friday, and it become actually, I wasn't even mad at it. Like I wasn't surprised. It's kind of a thing. I won't give up. I'll even if I have to ride my wife's bike and try that one, I'm going to do something. Or if I have to spray my top sportsman bike in the Gamblers race, I want to do something. But I'm not going to give up. And when I do win it, and you guys see me spraying champagne in the winner circle, you'll know that it took me over a year to get that done. Actually, 3 years. So I won't stop. When I do, it's going to be like I won the World Series, pretty much.
Yeah,
now we're on. Now it's your Saturday, which was kind of short-lived.
I want to give a shout out to 2 legends. We did not get to quite finish the Gamblers race on Friday night, but there was 2 legends in there. It's funny because I was talking to one of these legends, and I said, man, there was 2 legends in the final. And Robin Procopio looked at me and said, did you just call me old? And I said, no. And I said, that would have been classics. And she laughed. But shout out to Robin and Shane Proctor for making it to what would have been the finals of the Gamblers race. Both phenomenal racers, obviously, but just really cool and down-to-earth racers, too.
So, speaking about not getting it finished, so, shout out to my buddy Andre Taylor. He lost it at the big end in Real Street, and man, to be honest, he was okay, but he was knocked out for a minute, so they lifelined him, and he was back at the track and hanging out and come by and seeing us and stuff on, I think it was Sunday, right?
Yeah, it ended up being Sunday, but Dre was tough for sure. That was scary, man. I was telling somebody like the older not that like 6 years ago or 7 years ago, whatever it is, not that I was ever okay with people crashing, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you got a kid now, right? You got responsibilities. That changes stuff a little bit, man. I think about it all the time.
As shit.
Yeah.
That's scary as shit. That actually, I'll be honest with you, I hadn't said anything, but that kind of, and I know Dre, and he's always been super nice and cool, and but we're not like super tight. But I'll be honest, that kind of stuck with me all weekend, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was glad to see
some weird thoughts, about worried about myself and all kinds of stuff. And like you said, it's probably just because having the family there for the first time and just all that new stuff, new emotions. But anyways, glad to see he was back on the track, and
he sent me a Snapchat on Saturday, and I was very glad to see that. And I just told him I was glad he was okay. And then I didn't foresee seeing him at the track the next day, but I don't even know if he listens to these, but he's a good friend of ours and or a good,
Yeah.
pretty good friend of mine, and he actually buys stuff from me, and he's a customer too. So I'm glad he's all right, just because he's a great person. So
Always smiling, happy. Hell,
yeah.
on Sunday, you wouldn't even thought anything happened.
No, he said, don't hit me, don't hit me. He's a little sore. He was walking
Yeah.
away from our trailer, and a guy come by and he goes, "Watch out, I'm handicapped."
Yeah.
He's just being funny. But he's in good spirits, and he'll heal up and be right back out there because he loves that real street stuff. He's been
Mm-hmm.
testing his butt off, man. So
Yep. So glad he didn't get injured too bad, and he's on the mend. So get well soon. Keep resting up, and like we said, that was a little bit part of just couldn't get everything done on Friday, but that was Friday, man. And then Saturday, Jason and the crew, they had already told us Friday evening. Um, I mean they knew it was coming. It was just supposed to be bad weather Saturday afternoon.
yeah,
Um,
we're talking like Wizard
like
of
bad.
Oz,
Yeah.
tornado, hail. Everybody had to take their tents down. Like it's supposed
Yes.
to be bad. And I think we kind of dodged a bullet, but
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, but they knew that it was coming, and it looked highly unlikely that it would just miss. So they modified the schedule, Friday for
yeah.
Saturday. We started about an hour earlier. Sportsman got there. We got our 2 time runs in for
And
top
shout out to him
sportsman.
because we really did need that hour. Like it worked out.
Oh,
Like,
100%. They
yep,
couldn't have timed like.
yep.
I mean,
He made the right calls
hats
on all
off.
that.
Like I said, they really put some thought into it, and they made all the right calls. I feel like this weekend, getting that going. So sportsman, we got our top sportsman slash pro AT qualifier. For those that don't know, Saturday you get 2 time runs in pro ET, street ET, and 560. But the pro ET, the quickest 32 out of those two, that's how they get top sportsman. So it's important for pro ET to get down through there, and then 560, what they give number 1 qualifier to buy if they have it.
And
Is
there's
that
not a,
correct?
yeah, something like
If
that.
they
Yeah,
have it.
yeah,
I mean, street ET is just your time runs, but
yeah.
Jason and the crew, they made sure to get us all that. Then they did an early pro qualifier because they had only got the one in on Friday. Um, and then they actually called us up. They were waiting to do the third pro qualifier, correct? Does that sound right, Dustin?
They eliminated two of the pro qualifiers, so I don't think they even got a third one, did they? I think they got one Friday and then the one Saturday, and that was it.
Well, no, they did, but I'm saying I feel like they were preparing to make to go for the third one.
Yeah, yeah, and they had
And
us come up to get like they basically kill
they
some,
had, yeah, they needed some filler because
yeah,
they didn't know exactly when it was going to
yeah,
rain.
he gave everybody a bonus pass. I was already loaded up. I just left my stuff in the trailer. But you actually wanted to turn your bike down and needed one. That pass
Yeah,
worked out
yeah.
really good for you.
So they gave us a bonus sportsman pass if you wanted it. Not everybody did, so some of us went up there, and I think they were getting ready to do another round of pros, but I guess they knew and seen on the radar, and they said there's no way we're gonna get this done, so no point to start. And man, I'll tell you what, they they ought to be the weatherman, weather woman, whatever. Whoever had that all planned out, and I'm sure it was, Jason kind of leading the charge, but no sooner did they say, "Hey, it's getting ready to come. Pack up, load your stuff up. We can't get this pro round
Yeah,
in."
they give
I mean,
themselves like
like,
20 minutes to get the
yeah, I
tree
was
and
gonna
stuff took
say
care of. Yeah.
it was no more than 20 or 30 minutes later, right? Like nobody was even sitting around like, "Hey," because everybody just got finished cleaning up, and it started storming and pouring down. Um, as Dustin said, luckily it didn't get as bad as it was supposed to get. I mean, it was pretty rough there for probably the first 15 minutes,
It
30
rained
minutes,
really
but
hard for like that long. And I actually went
mhm.
in the camper and opened the window slides up so I could see out. And I'm like, well, I want to at least see if I'm going to get sucked up in the sky because
Yeah.
it was on the local news even that there was tornado warning. So we didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I mean? So we rode it out and thankfully it missed us. Like we got heavy rain and then it stopped and it was like a constant drizzle. Like it just never quit.
Yep. So, yeah, so that was pretty much Saturday. There was no actual racing done, just some qualifying and stuff, and that set us up for a busy, jam-packed Sunday because that meant they then had to do all the running of the bulls, the kind of grudge shootouts that they do. Those are typically Saturday night, so those got pushed to Sunday. And then yeah, the rest of the program. So it was wide open Sunday.
Sunday was a very unique day. Um, no, not like complaining, but like I'm just not used to the rhythm that we got. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
the pro
We were all dealt
sessions,
the same cards, but yeah.
yeah. And the biggest thing was, if anybody that listens wasn't there, the weather took like a 22-degree swing from Friday, Saturday to Sunday. So Sunday we woke up and it was 40 something degrees. The high was like 62, I think, or something like that. The sun was warm on Sunday, but when it went away, it got real quick.
Mm-hmm. And then also we can't forget because he even gave us a shout out. This was even cooler. We already know that Big Dave Roberts listens to the show. Him and I
Oh
think
yeah,
Stephanie and probably Timmy. I
yep,
think they all do. And he's a subscriber. They all
yep.
contribute. That's cool.
If you don't know
Man,
Big Dave Roberts, he is the baddest Danger Lanes
yeah,
orchestrator you'll ever meet.
him and
Like
Stephanie for sure. Yeah,
man, those
they're a
two,
team.
he's taught her everything she knows. Like she's like a little mini me of him up there, and she knows how the show goes. And if you ask either one of them a question, they have an answer, and they'll work with you if you're running multiple classes, and they know you're coming, and they're amazing people. And
They care
basically,
about the racers.
yep,
That's the main thing.
yep. And Jason asked him to basically sweep the track for him if he could once it stopped. And Big Dave was out there sweeping the track and he was listening to a redneck and hillbilly while he done
Yeah.
it.
But I don't know. Was I don't who else was out there? Was I feel like was I think it was a couple of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was two tractors. I think Gene was on the other one, wasn't
Gene,
he?
yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
If we're wrong, sorry, but I feel like Big Dave and Gene, they got out there. They got up there regardless. The XDA staff, and
In the middle of the
Dave
night,
was
y'all.
like midnight. Like I'm telling y'all, Darnell was asleep already. Okay,
Yep.
like they were drying the track to make sure that thing was ready to go Sunday morning. It was
Somebody
just cool
posted
to
a
wake up and see that they had been doing that, and then Dave to shout Dustin and I out. Well, just the podcast in general.
yeah, somebody posted a picture like at 2 a.m. of the tractor on the racetrack.
Yeah,
That's
they got
awesome.
after it. That's
I don't know any other
XDA's.
racetrack or
Yeah,
series that has workers like pre-drive the track the night of the race. You know what I mean? Like the night before. That's
it's
just why
unique
they're
on
so awesome, man.
multiple circumstances because you damn near have to live at the track to get that done. Because you got to think, like so at that point, most of the employees had been long gone. So, you know, that's
Thankfully, Big
that's
Dave stays in his camper at the track at the race weekends, which is perfect.
well, yeah, that helps in them. But just asking two or three or four of your guys or girls, whatever, to work. After these are long hours anyway. So, anyways, what we're trying to say is hats off to XDA.
Yep.
Amazing event and staff to kind of overcome everything, but that's what it takes. That's why we wanted
The
to touch on that.
experience comes in handy, man. Like they nailed it.
Yeah. And this is not, don't anybody get it
No,
twisted.
we're
This is
not
not a
dissing
knock
nobody.
on
No,
anybody else,
we're
but
just giving them props for doing an outstanding job.
yeah.
They did a great job.
But if they hadn't started work on the track at 12 o'clock at night, we might not have been ready Sunday morning, but we was ready.
Yep.
So yeah,
I
you
think we were
want to
like
get into
30
that?
minutes late, right? Because we went ahead and done the awards Sunday morning while they finished.
Yeah.
They had a
Yeah.
couple of spots that was still water coming through the
On the
rubber.
shutdown. Yeah. I
So
think
we
it was on the
utilized
shutdown.
the time to go ahead and do the awards then instead of later. So that was good scheduling even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Time they got done, it was bam, let's go racing, 560,
Yeah, so after the awards ceremony, Dustin picked up his two championship trophies. Him and Ronnie Procopio, they both doubled up last year. So shout out to them. The only two-time champs from last year. Wonder if anybody,
Yeah.
that's like a stat we need to find out. That's a Fabian question. Has anybody
Yeah.
ever won three in a year? Have
I
you?
think, yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Damn it. All right. Well, I only had to ask you. That didn't go very far then.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
have.
I'm gonna stop there because I don't feel like anybody's ever won four, unless you have. Have you?
No, no,
Okay.
no. I have an SDBA.
Okay, well, see, there you go. All right,
All
well,
four.
Sorry, Fabian. I think I got the answers to my questions.
Yeah.
Excuse
We
me.
might get Fabian on here before the Virginia race. He asked me about it today, so we might try to. The thing is, before a race, we're like in like a hurry up, get everything done mode, and I don't know, like it would still be a short one probably, but we'll figure it out. We'll
Yeah,
figure it
we'll
out.
see. So we went into Sunday racing. I guess I'll go ahead and get my shit show out of the way, just because there's plenty of other stuff we can talk about. I felt really good going into Top Sportsman. I'd made the passes, made a couple passes Friday on it, with the lever and all. It was working phenomenal. I mean, I think I ripped off. I think I was like 14, 30, 39, 30, 25. Like I was having killer reaction times with it. Exactly why I wanted it. Bike was running good. I'd slowed it up some, kind of dialed it back. Felt really good first round. Is the thing about Top Sportsman first round, it's a little weird because it's basically one of the first things out, right? So,
It's right
um,
after 560. 560's
okay,
first.
yeah,
Yeah.
so 560, and so those, 560 goes out, and then Top Sportsman, they're both really, well, I'll put it like this: it's really hard to go out first thing Sunday morning and go, and there ain't no buybacks in 560 or Top Sportsman, so, um, you kind of just have to go with it. You don't have anything but the day before to go off of as far as ET and all. So it's always a challenge. I feel like that first round is big in 560 in Top Sportsman, and
When the weather's a big swing like that, like normally
yeah,
you can kind of go off Saturday's qualifier, because you start a little later on Sunday. We start at 10 normally. And then Saturday you start like at 9 or 8, 9, I think normally. So you can usually kind of go by that. But when the weather swings 22 degrees, what do?
hmm,
You just got to race. I mean, and
yep,
everybody's in that situation.
it is, yeah, for sure. And earlier I talked about Logan Matthias helping Mac out, with the bike on Thursday. Well, we're back to Logan, and I qualified number two. He was the 31st qualifier. He squeaked in. He's got a street bike Hayabusa on some nitrous. And the funny thing was, Logan and I actually made that kind of third freebie pass on Saturday. We made it together.
He's a
Um,
he's a hard times parts and service customer, and um, his nitrous combo and clutch and everything come from me, so I have to contribute to his talent
okay,
a little
okay.
bit.
So that's why it was so good. But anyways,
Yeah,
Logan and I, we made the pass, and at that point, he already knew. It's funny, we was talking beforehand. I was like, "Who you got, not Sportsman?" He just started laughing and shaking his head. I was like, "What?" He's like, "I got you." And I was like, "Oh shit!" And then we ended up making that time run. Anyway, so we both had a time ticket to look at, and if you know what I mean, that's what I'm saying. We both knew what we had both run the night before. That was our last pass or afternoon before. So we knew what to expect. And the pass that night, that evening, or the day before, I think I was 34 and he was 32 on the tree. He went, I believe, in 8:22. When I get down there for first round Sunday, and I think I went, what did I go? I don't know. I have to look again. But anyways, we get down there. Logan had dialed an 8:21, so in my head, he dialed down one. I knew he was good on the tree the day before, and I believe I dialed down. I think I went a 65 or a 64, and I
yeah,
think I dialed down to a 62. So,
yeah. I think we
anyways,
all just dialed down one or two and just hope for the
yeah.
best.
Yeah, and so this kind of goes back, honestly, between my bike and Logan's, it wasn't a crazy mile per hour read, and by that I mean I think it was like about 20 mile an hour difference. So I'm not saying I'm great at that, but it wasn't terrible. Um, Basically, when the tree came on my side on my spot, I knew I should let go of my handle, and I didn't quite. So I basically knew I'd missed it and was a little bit late when I left. I went chug-a-lugging down through there, and I broke out. I went a 759 on a 762, and I was pretty upset because I knew I'd kind of missed it, and there was no reason because I think the worst light I'd had in 6 or 7 passes before that was like maybe a 40 or 39, I think.
Yeah,
Well, I got my
I know.
ticket,
I know
Dustin, and
Logan qualified with a 28, and he dialed a 20. What did he
it dialed
dial?
to 21.
Yeah. So he went
But
on.
me and him had made a pass that evening or the day
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that
Oh,
he went
the
a
what on the
22.
qualifier?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
okay,
I'm
okay.
saying.
Yeah.
I'd have been real confused if we hadn't, because yeah, I would have seen the same thing that he'd win a 28 and dial a 21. So no, he went a 22 the day before too. It was his last pass of the day. Um,
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at the results now. So yeah, he he dialed a 21 and went a 22. He did
yep.
scrub a little bit of mile an hour, but not
He
much.
did, and that's what I was gonna say. I was pretty upset, Dustin, until I got my time slip, and I actually did not miss it as bad as I thought. I mean, I was late. I was 65, I think, but Logan was like
If
015, one
Yep.
above. He had like a 25 pack.
Did you cross first or did he cross first?
Um,
I think he did because
he,
you just went four under,
I
and
think he
then he
took
had
double
you.
O, or he took 01. He took 01 stripe.
Outstanding job of racing the finish line. Like
Hmm.
he killed mile an hour, so we know he was racing it. That
Oh no, he was looking and he told me I was laughing because I seen the whole thing. Like he looked and didn't quite catch me at first, so he did a harder look, and you just saw like his whole head kind of rip back. And he told me he's like, man, it almost ripped my visor off because he was trying to find me. And he did a great job. When I got the ticket, I wasn't even mad because
yeah,
if I'd have made, I had to make a perfect pass to get by him. He was ready.
in a
He was on
29
full.
pack.
Yeah, and I that would have been hard to get by. So I wasn't mad after that, a little disappointed, but it was a good race. He just he laid a package on me I couldn't beat
Yeah,
and
even
had
if he
to
was 30, you know what I mean? He was
yeah.
ineligible, basically.
Oh
It,
yeah,
it
and
would have
and
changed the race a little, but, you know.
yeah, I mean and like I said, I had his time slip from the night before, so I went to and looked at his incrementals, and I mean, I think if he held it to the wood, I mean, he might have broke out by a couple thou is what it looked
Shout
like.
out to his motorcycle to be that consistent from the night
Yeah.
before. But I
Yeah.
will say that time run could have been an asset because it was cooling off because the weather was coming in. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
no, it wasn't
Yeah.
bad, and but he was gonna break out if he held it to wood. I'm saying maybe 2, 3 thou, so it wouldn't have mattered because if I'd have had a perfect light, I'm pretty sure I would have at least thought I had a good light, and I'd have drove down there and tried to take stripe, and my bike was going way faster than I thought. So long story short, I was bound to break out. So shout out to Logan. He laid down a hell of a package and moved on. Um, so I dropped back into Pro ET for first round and
Pissed off
put
that you missed a tree.
yeah, pissed off that I let my concentration go and poor Ryan. Do you remember his last name? Beardsley?
Yeah, Beardsley.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah,
Beardsley. Just trying to make sure I know Ryan from the old bikes in the valley days.
yep.
Super nice guy, super clean bike. Like his stuff is mint. So
Yep.
I had to race Ryan. And I was a little upset about my performance. I was 001 green that time and I turned on the wind light. But it was first round, so Ryan bought back and I was prepared to. I told him I was like, I'm gonna buy back, so I'm just making a time run. That's what I did. I hit the tree hard and went down there and I didn't even honestly I didn't try and drive the finish line, I just held it wide open to see what it run. Um Came out on the right end of that and come back around for round two. Probably 4 hours later, it felt like maybe more.
6 hours, buddy.
6 hours later, which that's like I said, that's nothing against anybody, just how it
That's
had to
just
play
because
out.
we had to have the Bulls in because they wasn't done Saturday night. This is just life, but it did. That was a very tough deal to sit at your trailer after, especially for me. I run first round and then sit. Well, I
Yeah.
sit for 6 hours. You might not have, but I sit for six total.
Yeah. Well, I sat for probably at least 4 to 5. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm a rhythm racer. Dustin knows that. It was tough, and I'm not making excuses. It was just tough. Hell, I think I started packing some camper and stuff up. Actually, I know they did because Tiffany left before I lost. Okay, so yeah, they'd already gone by the time I came up for second round, and I was trying to think. I don't quite remember who I was racing, but
Derek
um,
Duncan.
Derek. Okay, yeah, yeah, and he dialed like 890. Excuse me, I
Eight,
dialed.
eight, he dialed to 882.
Oh, okay. Well, 882. I dialed 760 because I can see it still on my bike.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think it was just a combination of everything.
Sitting around, man. Sitting
Yeah, I don't
around.
want to make excuses. I knew had I was pretty sure I missed it when I left. I mean, I kind of knew I'd missed it. I didn't really know how bad I'd missed it though, and I missed it bad. I think I was 100 even. And I don't know, I just wasn't concentrating and staying focused like I normally can. So there's really nobody to blame but me. And I went down there and I seen him looking, because that's the thing, sometimes everybody's approach and strategy is different, but I feel like sometimes an advantage to having something like Kevin's riding, or if I turn mine up even more, sometimes people just maybe dial down one and hold it to the wood and not even try and look, because it can be that hard to judge. But he was looking, and he was 005 on the tree, so he had about a tenth to play with, and he did not mess that up. He judged it right, and yeah, I got beat. I got my ticket, was 100 to his 005, and I loaded up. That was my weekend. It's pretty short and sweet after being there for 4 days.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about it because I heard Bubbles leave the line, and then I heard like a slight brop at the finish line, and I thought you was racing the finish line, but you kind of just let him go because you realized you weren't going to get there, or you didn't think you was going to get there, and then your
Yeah.
light didn't come on because, like I said, I sit at the trailer. We run first round and everything, and then I literally sit at the trailer for 2 rounds of pros, and then y'all to run first round of pro ET and re-entries before we even
Hmm.
got to go back up, and it was 6 hours. So I actually was sitting in the trailer, and my wife got me this sweet chair that like lays back. You can it's smooth, it just rocks back, and I damn near fell asleep, and the wind blowed the little dangly things at my side door and like startled me, and I jumped up and walked around. I'm like, I cannot go to sleep and miss my round, taking a nap in the trailer. But when you
That'd
sit
be
around for
something.
6 hours, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And actually, a squirrel come over and talked to me and occupied me for a little bit because he was coming off. Um, our squirrels were friends, so he was coming off suicide watch. He had a little bit of trouble too, so he come out and hung out for a little bit. And I guess it's my turn. I guess.
I mean, I don't really have much else to say. You know, I you always got to try and learn something. I definitely learned some stuff this weekend. And my clutch idea worked. Like I said, shout out to Eric on that. I was super pumped about that. I mean, I didn't have a chance to test that beforehand, so I was a little nervous, but that worked exactly like we had planned and he had drawn up. Bike ran great. Steven's bike ran great. I just got to focus a little bit better. I just wasn't all there, and like I said, not making excuses, not saying it was because of the long waits or anything. I just didn't stay focused, and that's hard to it's hard to turn on them lights when you're not focused.
Well, I'll get to that part here in just a minute. So I'll go back to Saturday for a second.
Hmm.
Saturday, we got our 2 qualifiers, and I was pretty stoked about my top sportsman bike because now I knew the bike was going to be slow, like I said earlier, because it had a cool weather tune up in it. But the first hit, I was 002 red, and it went 787 with an 8. And then we come back for the second qualifier, and I was trip zip, and it went at 787 with a 9. So I'm like, okay, everything is working good. I need to chill out a little bit, don't be so aggressive. But I was well rested because we didn't do nothing the night before, much because I got beat early. And in 560, I went 5:59.9 the first qualifier, and I took the second qualifier to try something, and it went faster, so I reverted back to plan one for Sunday because the weather was cooling off. And actually, I took a little timing out just to chill it out. And 560 round one, I won. I can't remember who I raced. Let me see if I got it pulled up. I have a bunch of windows opened up here. Yeah, I got it. So first round, I raced. I don't know who it is. John Briscoe Jr. He's from Maryland. I didn't have a great light. Oh, I remember this now. I really didn't have a great light. I was kind of gun shy. I was 048. He was 012, but he stood it straight up like almost 12 o'clock, probably 11, 10:30. And of course, I just shut it off early. And then I won round one. And then round two, I go up, and this was after the 6 hour wait, right? So, and I was just like, I told my wife that I was like, I have this thing where I don't eat when I'm racing. So that morning I didn't feel like I wanted to eat anything. So I didn't. I just drank some water and a body armor or something I had in the camper. But I was literally like, had the shakes, and I probably should have eaten something, but I didn't. And I felt really weak. But I was 0 08 on the tree, and the other guy was 0 07. And he couldn't run the number. So I won second round. Come back for third round, and I felt better. I actually made myself eat some fruit and drunk some waters and all that good stuff. And I was good, but the bike wasn't. I had 400s on the tree advantage. I was 03, he was 07. Um, and the bike just didn't shift third. I don't know. This year I'm fully committed to auto shift. I think I know what the problem is, but I'm not 100%. I think I need to get more pull on the shifter for auto shift to work correctly. I don't think it like holds it like a butt when you hit the button. It's not when you hit the button with your thumb, you're slower than the auto shift is. So anyway, it let me down. Old Faithful let me down third round, and it is what it is. I'm still kind of sour about it, but look, I honestly think that it might have been for the best interest of me, and I'll get to that here in a minute because 560 was right top sportsman, and it was very difficult to get back the round before and this round while top sportsman was already under the tent. Like that, I barely made it the round 3 of top sportsman. So we'll leave that and go to top sportsman, I guess. And so I wasn't like the best qualifier. I think I was 7th qualifier this time. Yes, I was 7th qualifier. First round, I had to race a good friend and a customer of mine, and it was a bummer for me how it worked out, but it was Norman Teal, and he had a starter solenoid go bad. Like, where I fired my bike up, I looked over, and he was pushing his button, and his bike wasn't far, and he was like shaking it and smacking the body and just trying to get something to happen. And I would have waited until the cows come home, and he knows that because he come out of the trailer afterwards, and he just sent me. So it wasn't a bad round to get a test pass because, like I said before, the day before the bike went 787 back to back. And I told myself that, with this weather, this thing's going to run like a 79 or 80. I was 100% confident in that, but I just couldn't get myself to dial that. I couldn't do it. So I dialed to 86. I was like, I'll just race it because I didn't know if the bike would wheelie or not because of the weather change. And it went a 780 with a 9 at 173, I think. So I was right. Thankfully, I know the motorcycle and know what it's going to do, after the weather change. And then second round, I had Mr. Cornell, which is a cool old dude, old school racer. His son races 460. They're a good family, good people. And I showed up to race. I was 016. He was 50. I dialed a 780. That's exactly what it ran the first round. And I killed about 14 mile an hour and went 84. Third round, I had to race for little buddy Logan. And I was well aware of how well Logan did against Ben. And I also would find out shortly that Logan was still good. So thankfully I had a little bit of advantage on the tree. I was 035. He was 055. I had dialed a 79 that pass. I did catch him and let out of it a little bit, but I did go a 779 with a 6 dead on. But he knows his motorcycle. He dialed a 18 and went a 18 with a 3. So it was probably my best race, to be honest, in Top Sportsman. This is when it gets interesting. So this is fourth round. I had to race my buddy Michael Daddio, which we talked about when Dunnigan was on here with us. I dialed down a little bit. I dialed a 77. He was dialed a 59, and he red lighted. He was 03 red. I was 04. My bike wheelied. I went at 84 pedaling it, so I knew right then that I lost 7 fighting a wheelie. And I noted that to myself. So I come back and I pull 2 degrees of timing out at the hit, 2 more degrees. I had 13 out and I made it 15 from the hit, and I just held the 15 out the entire run. And I dialed a 77, and I raced Bill Maturo in the final. He was 01 red. I was 026 and went a 775. So the bike didn't wheelie, didn't do anything. It just went straight down Broadway, which was exactly what I was hoping it would do. And I also dropped the bottle pressure a little bit, like I was creeping down on it every pass. So I had to fall over to 6th round of Pro ET. And they put you on a ladder as you fall over if it's under 16 bucks. And I pulled up and they told me I had Nick Hamlet, which is another great racer. And I dialed a 75 because it just went a 75. And he went red. He red lighted. He was 031. He dialed a 68. And his red kind of like, I don't know, a racer can understand this. It kind of stunned me. And when I seen it, I was like, oh crap. And then I went for the bottom bulb and I red lighted myself. And I didn't even make the full pass because the wheelie come back and I just shut it off. Really, there wasn't no reason to try to go out the back door when it wheelied. I come back for round 7 and I had to race our homie Boo Brown. And of course, we negotiated a 10% deal like a lot of us teammates do. And something odd that happened was Boo's electrons, you know, how like a bar bike sometimes will kind of the throttle stick, you got to like whack it and then it'll chill out. And he whacked it and it didn't chill out, and he whacked it and it didn't chill out, and then he whacked it and it shot him like 30 foot or 20 foot out, and they had to push him back, which I was sitting over like, Lord have mercy.
Like through the beams?
Yeah, like I wasn't staged yet or nothing. It shot him like way out there. Boom, he went way out there like a dry hop.
Dang,
And,
I didn't know that.
which wasn't really good for his transmission because it's got auto in it, you know. But anyway, I was like, okay, and they pushed him back, and then he got it actually did idle down after that, so it fixed the problem, but he done like a lurch there. And Boo went red. So yet another red light, you know. He was 16 red. Now, in my defense, I was 019, dialed a 775, went dead on the 7 out the back door. So, you know,
Old 26 pack.
yeah, I was 26 total. I mean, Boo shut his off early. I think he got over toward the center a little bit. I remember going by him and seeing him like over toward the center. I just run mine out, so I knew what to dial in the final. And, you know, the streak continues in the final. I had to race Barry Pryor, and he was 0-2 red. And I realized he dialed 950, so I had plenty of time to be aware of he went red. And I just let the lever go, and I didn't even get out first gear, and I just pulled the clutch in and had a doe girl on the gas tank because she done her job. So I done something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I wasn't the first person to do it. I wasn't the second person to do it, but I was the third. And 3 in the heart, 3 in the sky, race hill, race dale. If I can't be number 1, I'll be number 3 all day. And it was pretty cool because Crystal that runs the gets our dial ins and stuff. Yeah. She come over and give me a hug and said, you know, welcome to a elite group. And I'm like, you know, I'm in good company, you know, here. And I love Crystal to death. Like, she's amazing. I don't even know if she listens to these. If she does, hi, Crystal. Something I do want to pull out or mention was when I raced Mr. Cornell and Top Sportsman, the racer side of me done a very good job. I took like 008 a couple times. So when I didn't have somebody red light on me, I was cutting good lights and running the finish line really good. I felt good. You know, two-tone is 3-0 this year. I mean, I won Top Sportsman at STBA, which is only classic races, and then I won Pro ET Top Sportsman this weekend, which is only classic races. And the bike's great. Shout out to my boy Gage, wired it up, auto shifts perfectly. It don't do anything crazy. It just does what I tell it to do. And you know, I've made so many passes. I mean, I'm this same combo minus the rewired job, which don't change the relatively the combo is. I've been riding it for like 4 years, 5 years, so I know what the bike wants when it wants it, what it's going to do, and the weather swings. I'm pretty aware. I mean, there's times I miss it, but that's just life. But for the most part, the bike did a great job, and I done my part too when I needed to. You know, I wasn't perfect, but I also always say that you got to have luck to win races, and I did. It was exciting to do that, but I ain't gonna lie, I was very tired. And like, you know, you was pointing out the long wait earlier, and like I just sit around. I didn't want to eat because I'm racing, and it just caught up to me. I was up there in the start line. We're getting ready to go into the tent, and I'm like, my hands are shaky, and I feel like, you know, I'm just weak. I'm like, man, like this ain't good. And then I go up there in 560 and have a bad light, and I'm like, I got to eat something. So I made myself eat. I'm not really hungry. When I'm racing, I don't get hungry. But there's a lot of people that does that. And sometimes you got to be careful because not eating at all could be bad. And then eating, you can't go up back and eat a cheeseburger and you got to go right back up in 5 minutes, So um, I'm a rhythm racer just like you. I do like to get a little bit of break between like 5 minutes would be great sometimes, but sometimes we don't get it. Um, Being a sportsman racer, it is rough. Once all the pros are done, they get the whip out and they start striking it at us and we're running circles. For a rhythm racer, that's great. For a fat boy, it's not. It was cold outside and I was still sweating. I take my jacket off after every pass, because I was just running circles. But I have no complaints. I wish I could have done better in the gamblers just to try to see if I could find round 4 or 5 or something. Bummed out about 560 a little bit, but that's something that I got to change. I want to try to fix it. If it don't work, I go back to good old button shift. Don't let me down. But I'm not afraid to try things that may make the program better. So I'm not going to give up on it yet, even though this is technically one strike was my fault. One strike wasn't my fault. And one strike was my fault. So it's actually the bike's second strike. So one more failure on the bike's end. And after I attempt this solution, if it don't work, I will turn that off and I'll hit my good old little shift light that comes on. And honestly, I'm not mad at it because auto shift on the top sportsman bike, the shifting seems way more aggressive to me now because I'm not the one activating it. Like if you're prepared and hey, shift, the bike don't yank you around as much. But when it's auto shifting, you're just unaware. Like I know it's coming, but you're not commanding it. So I feel like my body movement's a lot more. You don't see it in videos, but on the bike, I feel like it's yanking me around a little bit when it shifts, at least the first 2 shifts. And then after that, it's all good. I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm trying it because it does work. When it works good, it's better, and if you're using the 2-step and an auto shift, well, then all I have to do is race, like cut a light and race. And so it will make it better. Look at cars. They're not out there shifting gears. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. Yeah. It will help. A lot of the grudge guys are auto shifting, pro street guys.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what they do. It's advancements in the sport. And sometimes even though I'm hard headed on some stuff, change ain't a bad thing. But I did have a really good weekend and it was a good birthday gift for my wife to call her and tell her that I done well because she's always want me to do good. And even you said you had a feeling that I was going to do well, but you had to leave a little bit earlier to take the dogs home and stuff. So
Man,
I guess
I knew. Yeah, I have those sometimes. Yeah,
I guess I was the only person that was unaware. I was just in autopilot,
Part of it was too, and I told you this. I think Richard Gadsden had posted something like the week before in just one of the XDA groups. And he's like, "Hey, has anybody ever? I don't know, Richard. Shoot me a text or something. Like I don't know why you were thinking about that, but that's cool. Let us know why."
He's thinking about all them dollars, man. That's $7,000 up for grabs.
I guess, yeah. I don't know, but Richard just posed a question, which seemed kind of like random. But anyways, he said, "Has anybody ever won Top Sportsman and then fallen into Pro ET and won?" And multiple people were like, "Well, Dustin's probably done it. Dustin's had to have done it. Dustin's done it." And then a couple people had said, a few different people, and I even chimed in. I was like, I was close to do it, but Dustin actually stopped me last year because I won Top Sportsman and then runnered up in Pro ET to Dustin. Then finally Dustin was like, no, or maybe somebody else commented. But Bob Carlson and Robin Procopio were the ones who have done that, correct? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, they're the only 2 that's done it, other than me.
And Bob's done it twice, I think, is what he said.
Bob was the first to do it. He done it at Virginia.
Okay. Well, so needless to say, it's elite company. And literally after that was posted, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I told you, right? But I was like, man, I knew you was going to do it sooner versus later just because I don't know. It's just
I've always wanted
done.
it.
There's not a whole lot that you haven't done. And to me, it just clicked. I was like, well, Dustin will knock this one off the list pretty soon.
I always wanted it, man. It was just like, I'm really it was bleeds back to the red light thing. Like I'm always trying to kill it, always trying to kill it, trying to be perfect. And that bike, for some reason, I have more adjustment to, chill it out. Like, I don't have to have as low tire pressure. I don't have to have my lever at a certain spot. Like there's things I can do to chill it out. And that one's never been maxed. So, you know what I done Saturday before we qualified is I maxed my lever out. It's like, I want to race it right here. This will eliminate red lights. Now,
Yeah,
I feel
because
like
we
I can still
talked
red
about
light.
that.
Yeah, I feel like we can still red light, but I can still red light. But I feel like let's just step back. If I'm a 02 or 03, I still got a shot. Like that's still a good light, bottom bulb racing. So why do you have to be 01? Like I just told myself, I'm like, I'm going to lose today with a worse light. Maybe that's how I want to. I would rather lose that way this past weekend than red lighting because
Well, I
you don't have
remember
a
when
shot.
the squirrel might have said something too, but I know I did. And like when I said it to you this past weekend, because I've said it before, but like when I said it to me, I literally saw the light bulb go off, and you're like, yeah, you're right. Because I
Yeah,
know I told you, I said, man, so look, all I'm gonna say is in the last year that we've been racing, like I'd say 90% of the time you've
I
lost because
beat
you went red.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, take myself
And
out. I
like
mean,
when
I'm
like
not
I
saying that
saw
people
the
can't beat
light
me. I'm
bulb
just
go off though, like literally
yeah.
for whatever reason that day it clicked, right? And you're like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying people can't beat me. I'm just saying that, god dang, like, I mean, I'm just beating myself, going red. Now, the laybox racing, I don't have to worry about that as much, right? Because you can smash the top yellow. And I think that's the problem is I've started the laybox racing more, places I go to allow it and this and that. And I think it's got me just sharper. When I react quicker because I'm
Probably.
used to doing that, so I
Yeah.
got to chill out. And I'm not touching that motorcycle because it's like I just now pulled the filter off and cleaned it, and it was clean as a whistle. And I farted up and oil pressure pegged the sensor out as soon as it farted, and I give her a little kiss on the side of the fairing and patted her on the nose and told her I loved her. And the other one, I turned around, looked at it, and said, "I'll see you in a little while." And I'm going to take the oil pan off of it and check and make sure everything looks good because it did miss a shift, and I want to make sure there's nothing wrong. And then I'm going to adjust my shifter and try to make it pull more. Is the only thing I know to do because it's got plenty of kill time. I just think about it. So the bike was killing, but it wasn't shifting. So that leads to a
Hmm.
shift ram or something. It's not pulling it in gear far enough. So the shift ram that's on that bike is a Pingle from 2009. It's coming off. It's been great. It's paid its dues. I don't even know if it's bad, but I'm going to take it off. I'm going to put a brand new one on it, and I'm going to move it down just a little more, one more notch, just to make sure that it gets it all the way in gear. And then if it misses a shift again, I'll go back to button shifting. Just because I would rather lose because it's my fault. If I miss a shift, cool, But when you're kind of at mercy on what your setup is, and you watch somebody just drive away from you. I mean, if it was a quarter mile race, I would have done more to overcome that problem. But it was over. Like when it didn't take third at 3:30, and he just drove off. I was like, well, you know, even the shutdown, I looked at him and just shrugged my shoulders and like, it didn't shit. Like, I don't know what happened. And she's grounded. She's still my old faithful, and she's won a lot of races and done very good. And it's probably my fault. The issue, it ain't its fault. So she's going to get a little stuff done. I might go test it one weekend local before I go to another race or something. I know next weekend, or this weekend coming up, if people listen and they're in that area, NHRO is having a race this weekend at Muncie.
Oh yeah.
Brian Welch made an appearance at XDA, and it was good to see him. I hadn't seen Brian in Lord since Indy of 20. When did I win that big money race? 2021.
I don't know. You tell me. Probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I think it was
trails.
21.
Yeah, and trails. I seen him that year. I went to Indy for another big money race and won. I run it up in the no box side, and I hadn't seen him since. And just because they went so far up north, I just couldn't make those trips. And I'm also not trying to not race as much, just because. And you're learning this right now that family time is important. I'm actually taking my daughter. I'm going with her to the zoo Friday with school. So, um,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, she was all other kids as parents is going to show up, and my wife said that Tamara said that they was the ones that don't show up is going to stay with the teacher. I'm like, nah, I'll go with her, So I'll go to the zoo with her for a little while, then bring her home and dad stuff, other joys in my life. I love racing. I love everybody in it. I was thankful that I know when you left, I have a rule that if I'm still racing, I like for one of my friends to hang out at least one till I'm, lose or whatever.
And I made sure Squirrel wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah, you did. And Squirrel said, I'm here with you. I'm like, all right. Now, Spitzer was still there. He was down there at the
I had
quarter
no
mile
clue. I
mark.
felt bad. I kind of forgot but anyways,
Yeah, he come up and hung out with
I
us
knew
there at
Boo
the
was
end.
there too, and he was still
Yeah,
racing too. So
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
some.
I wanted to stay so bad. Like I said, I had that feeling. And I told you beforehand. I was like, man, you're good. Just go with it. I know it.
I just have a fear of if I ever something bad happen and I go down, that I'm by myself. You know what I mean? Like it's probably a
Yeah.
good fear to have. It's not a bad
No, it
fear to
is.
have, but I just want somebody that's close to me to be around to at least load my trailer up and call my wife. Actually, just call my wife. Screw everything else. But um, that's my whole
No, that's
world there.
good. It's right.
Yeah,
And like I said, we knew Squirrel and Boo was still there. So I hate I had to leave because I just kind of had this good feeling that you was going to get a photo, and I obviously wasn't getting a photo, so I wanted to I want to be in it. I just those
yeah,
pupper dogs, and I didn't want Tiffany to have to bring the dogs in walkers, so I
yeah,
wanted to get them loaded up. Plus, I had turned everything off in the camper. So, anyways, yeah, but you had a good weekend though.
yeah. I mean, I mean, it started out rough, typical Friday night drama for me, getting my butt kicked or kicking my own butt, whatever you want to call it, and then we didn't get to do the bracket bash, which I enjoy because it's just kind of like a little in between. It's
Mm-hmm.
fun. It's fun racing. There's nothing to worry about. No, it's good money still, but it's not something you got to worry about points and all that stuff. So I missed the bracket bash, and Saturday was kind of a bummer when it rained because I did go to Spencer's trailer, which he parked pretty far away because he had a big group. I went down there once, and it was rainy, and I got wet, and then I was cold. So I went back to get dry clothes, and then I was like, man, I'm not going back down there. It's still raining. I don't have my scooter. You're going to get wet,
Mm-hmm.
and it did stop a couple times. Then about time I think about going out there and riding around, then it would start raining again. So I just chilled and watched YouTube videos and just hung out the trailer on Saturday. It's kind of a little bit of a drag because I wasn't around my people, but um, actually I wasn't the only one. Like you go outside and like everybody was in. That was
Yeah,
nobody was out.
you didn't know what was going on at all.
Yeah, I mean it was
Um,
just everybody was just missing.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird weekend, but we got to see some people. And we had fun. We definitely had fun. That's
For
the name
sure.
of the game. Obviously, I wish I had a little better race results, but after going back and looking through the results, I mean, yeah, I threw up shitty lights. For me when I lost, so it didn't help my cause, but when I did lose Logan and Derek, they laid down some solid passes. I mean, 005 and 015 and I mean, like they
Yeah,
were,
you probably just saved yourself the pain of having a good package and not good enough. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I've
Which
been
I
there.
did want to point this out. As you said, you were still racing good and you got, blessed with some red lights, a lot of them.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, four in a
but
row.
five, wasn't it technically? What is it, four or
uh,
five between the two?
let's see, one, two, three. Go top sportsman.
4 or 5.
4, 5. Yeah, 5. Yeah.
The last
Now,
5 rounds that Dustin raced, he had
in
red
my
lights.
defense,
You don't have to defend anything. Let me
hang
finish.
on.
Let me finish.
One, two, three. Nope. Three of those, I was ready. Like
Yeah,
the,
but you
the
don't have to
last one didn't
defend.
matter.
You
Yeah.
don't have to say nothing. Everybody knows you're ready. That's why they're cutting the tree down hard. But I wanted to say this. Dustin has gotten beat and has gotten the law laid down on him quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. And well, really all year. What, this is your fourth race?
Yeah.
It's my second one, but I've seen some packages and they haven't been easy on Dustin, but you kind of that's kind of what happens when I guess when you get a name for yourself. People are either coming to chop your head off or they're just kind of defeated when they have to race you. And
Yeah. I mean, one night at Knoxville, I think Brian Baldwin was like 0-1 dead on. And then SDBA Super Comp,
yeah,
Jonathan Millam was 00 and one above. I had like a 16 pack. So yeah, I mean, I've had some races that was like I was ineligible and I still done a good job. Like I'd be just barely
Yeah.
behind them, you know.
So that's my
So
point is you've kind
and
of had
I
it rough the first couple of weeks of the year, and it's
yeah
kind of good to see you just get some racing luck as we call it,
yeah, I mean the past couple years or year and a half or whatever, it's been me. Like I've lost the past 3 years by red lights or double breakout losses. Double breakout losses are the worst because you can be, let's just say, for example, you're 021 on the tree and the guy you race is 025 and you take 7 thou stripe to break out a couple thou more than he does. That's the ones that hurt because you've actually done a really good job of racing, but it was just such a tight race that you just couldn't get it done. Those are very painful ones, but you have to let those go because you actually did a good job. You just got outdone. I mean, it's hard to give the strike back when you feel like you have a good light and yada yada. But I mean, yeah, I'm not mad. Like I mean, I'm cool if people red lighting on me every round. I'd probably get bored after a while, but I did get a stretch of them right there. But I always was prepared myself. The only one that I actually just got stunned was the one I raced Nick. Like his red just done something to my brain, and I'm pretty sure I like lit the third yellow with my clutch when I throwed it, and then the final I didn't even care. Like it didn't matter. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the other ones I felt like I was prepared to race. They just kept doing it.
Yeah. Um, so I want to give some shout outs and you think while I'm calling some out, but I want to give some shout outs to some, I don't know that we'll go through everything, but there was some definitely people in other classes that, Dustin I don't race in. I want to shout out. You know, he's back. He ain't went nowhere. He's still here. Y'all boys have your hands full in Pro Street. Rodney won again. It wasn't without his issues though. I think I seen he said they had to change motors Friday and they were struggling here and there, but Rodney's still at the top. Y'all need to step it up. But I know they will. There was some Pro Street actually seemed pretty wide open to me from the little bit I was trying to pay attention over the weekend. It like you said, Rodney wasn't just dominating out in the gate. He had some struggles, but he did qualify well and then fought through the field and won. So, but
Yeah, I mean,
shout out.
I do think that our homie boy Gage might have some
Well, that's what
newfound.
I was going to say.
Oh, okay,
Shout out to Gage, who heartbreakingly did not qualify. That's how t-
the weather
excuse me,
guys,
tough
the weather.
sometimes Pro Street can be. But Gage and testing on Friday ripped off a 645, a new nitrous best. Um, for a Busa world record, I guess is what you would call
Yep.
it, right? And
Yes. Yep.
645 ain't no joke. He was ready, but when it came to qualifying, normally the pros get 4 shots and they only got two, and the weather just swung so hard and they just couldn't make the necessary adjustments. But we know Gage will be a lot to handle. Um, Shout out to Jordan Haas. He made it to the finals against his teammate Rodney. Jordan's such a cool dude. He's
Something
used
happened
to
to
be
his
a
bike in
bracket
the
racer.
semis, didn't it?
It,
Didn't his
it
bike
broke.
break in the
Yeah,
semi?
yeah, it
Yep.
broke. Which I mean, we got a lot of, or I
He
have
went
a lot of Pro
650.
Street shout outs. Yeah.
He went
So
650 in the second round.
he went 658 against
Yep.
Caleb Holt on Eric's Pro Charge bike, and he still is. Eric's never satisfied,
Wow.
so he made a
That
lot
was
of
a good
changes.
race though, because
It was, and they turned
yeah.
it. They Eric turned it down, and it was still apparently. I didn't see the pass, but from what Eric told me, like it was like wheeling early on, and there was a lot of off and on the gas, and then tried to do a drive by, and it just didn't work out. But they've got a fast hot rod when Eric gets a complete handle on all the new changes he made. Like I said, shout out to Jordan. And what about
Mark Rendeluck.
our boy we ain't seen in a while, Mr. Mark Rendelock.
Yeah, he went all the way to the semis, and I guess he broke for the
Brand
semi.
new bike. No, actually, unfortunately, he left before the tree came on. I don't know
Oh,
what
okay.
all went down. I just know that's what happened. So I don't know if the clutch pulled him through or what, but
Yeah.
Man, Pro Street's going to be fun to watch this year. I feel like everybody's kind of closing the gap on Rodney, even though
Yeah, they're
he did
catching
win
up.
again.
Yeah,
And we know that, Justin Shaker is going to come back once he gets his new bike. I mean, he was back, but once he gets some stuff figured out with that, there's some younger guys in there with Brandon Litton getting in there. It's going to be fun to watch. I feel like this year's going to be a good year with that. And of course, our buddy Jason Dunnigan, he qualified well, and I didn't get to
yeah,
really talk with him. I know he won first round, but I'm not sure after that. So,
yeah. He and also in Real Street new winner, right, Cortland?
well, yep, that's why I said I wanted to go down some of these, if not all of them. But yeah, you said it. Cortland, our boy Cortland Whiting, man, he's on that G-Force all motor Gixxer, and he was laying it down. He was laying it down this weekend, and even last year his
On the
reaction
tree.
times, yeah, he
Wow.
crushes the tree. Cortland don't play no games on the tree. But he, went in the 750s this weekend. I think that was their best, 757 on all motor, and marched all the way to the finals. Pretty much kind of on
So
the bike was running good, but also the reaction time. So, well, hell,
yeah,
I just
let's go
looked in
over
the
that. So
semifinals. He went. Go ahead.
064 first round was his worst slot, 760. And then second round, 039, 758.
Hmm.
Third round, he was 26 and went a 56. And in the final, he was 23 and went a 75.
He just
That's
kept getting
that's
better.
yeah, like he got honed in like that first round. That's probably like Sunday be careful lot, you know what I mean? And then
Well,
just worked
yeah.
up to it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he qualified, let's see, qualified fourth. So, I mean, naturally you're racing someone who didn't qualify as well. Actually it was Bud. We love Bud. Bud's a great asset to the sport. And Bud actually treated him, believe it or not. But,
Yeah.
Cortland knew he had a performance advantage there first round and then just kept getting better and better. So, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We know that whole team works hard, Landon and everybody there. And, it's just cool to see a different face in the winner's circle.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, it's also a new style bike. I don't think a all motor Gixxer's ever won, so that's pretty cool. You know, um, new
Sorry, I
things are
was
happening.
coughing.
Oh,
No, Trevor did on the all
oh
motor,
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, my
but
bad,
that was
Trevor.
cool. That was cool. Also in the same class though, man, Caleb was rolling on that nitrous 1000. He went
Yep.
755 first round,
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
and him and AM have had that thing out for a couple of years now, and it's just like finally at the end of last year they started to get a handle on it. So a lot of different people and combos are kind of shaking up in Real Street. That's cool to see already.
Something that stood out to me over the weekend was something you don't see much, and that's Patrick Cooper on a Busa going to the final in Superstock. A
Oh
Gen
yeah,
3
Gen
Busa.
3.
Yeah. I mean, even the fact, I mean, let's just be honest, Superstock's dominated by ZX14s.
Hmm.
And to see a Busa and let alone a Gen 3 Busa, go out there and get like he wasn't the fastest, but out he was just doing his job. You know what I mean? Like the times that he had to have good lights, it seemed like he did. And I was listening to it all day, and I thought it was pretty cool to see a new kind of bike almost win. I mean, he got to the final and he just went red. He probably just trying to kill the tree because he knew he was outgunned. But
Yeah. Shout out to P. Cooper. That's our
yeah,
dude from Cincinnati. I've known
and the
Patrick
winner
Cooper for
was
a while.
and the winner was Mark Blake, which is a good friend
Yes.
of ours too.
I know.
Yeah,
Shout out to Mark. That's what I want to get to as well. You took
yeah.
the words right. I was hanging out with Mark and some people on, I don't know what night it was, honestly.
Are you
Excuse me.
sure? It's probably Darnell.
Sorry, I'm having.
Oh, he's having a coughing fit right now. He's having a
All right, I
Ben's
might be back.
Ben's got the cough and I got the hoarseness from talking
Yeah.
too much.
It's having. But anyways, I was hanging out with Mark and their crew one of the nights. Darnell was. Yeah, Darnell was chilling with them. But that's cool, man. Mark and I have had some great close races and ET races. Man, he does it
Yep,
all. I feel like
he
he's
is. Yep,
he's like Mark's definitely like an underrated racer rider. At least I feel like he is.
I
Because I
think
mean
so
he
too.
does it. He does it all. And he's
Yep.
always smiling and having fun and
He's also, builds bikes, tunes bikes. It's like that's how he makes his living. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool to see somebody that's, busting their butt
uh-huh.
around motorcycles and then get some success out of it.
Yeah. And then I don't I don't want to get too lost in everything, but shout out to Nanu Darian Payne. Man, he won 460, and
Yeah.
I know he's raced it some before, but I know it's not something that's regular for him, right? I'm
No,
not wrong in that. So
I don't think so. I don't think he normally races 460. I mean, he has,
so
but I don't think it's like a scheduled thing, you know.
that's another one that's he'll jump on anything, and you got to watch out, and he showed it. So
And the
shout out to
final, he was
him.
dead one.
Yeah.
036 dead one in the final. That's awesome.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What else did you see, Dustin, that kind of stood out to you? Because I feel like there was a lot of not new faces, but different faces in different classes. It seemed like
David
getting it done.
David Roberts' beard.
Yeah, I had to do a double take. It looked good though, I thought.
Yeah, it did. But like, I'm so used to looking for Big Dave, baby face in the lanes. We usually with a hat on or something. Like, where's he at? And I was like,
That did
whoa.
catch me hardcore at
Yeah, I
first.
know he's going to listen to this, so he's going to laugh. But I mean, his beard psyched out a lot of people. Dwayne Jackson said that he waved at him and didn't even wave back because he didn't recognize him. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I will say the first time I seen him, I guess it was probably Thursday or something. I started to drive by him on the scooter, and
yeah.
we kind of both thought. So no, I get it. That was the first thing I said too. I was like, "Whoa, Grizzly Adams did have a beard."
Yeah, yeah, because he's always like baby face, clean shaven. In the summer, there's just sweat glistening off his cheeks, like it's just Big Dave. You know
Oh
what I mean?
man, you've got a pretty stout beard going on right now too.
Yeah, but mine won't make it much longer. It's starting to get warmer. I'll chop that stuff off. It just it
Yeah.
keeps my face warm when it's cold. Right now, it feels weird when I ride the scooter through the pits. The wind moves it, and I'm like, "What is this weird feeling? Like it's trying to tug on my face."
Yeah, it's pretty stout. It's pretty stout.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Um, did you have anything else that stood out, or I guess we were kind of on the same page as we went
yeah,
through those
yeah,
Real Street, Superstock, Pro Street, and everything like that. I mean,
yeah. I
some
mean,
of the
nothing
ones I'm just
else.
not as knowledgeable on the grudge stuff. We know our boy Spencer and some other people, but
Yeah, so I'll talk about that for a second. You know, Spencer, the Sunday weather thing got him. It kind of wanted the wheelie. He pedaled it, and Jazzy just he couldn't get back around him. He definitely was going to be making a move, and then he had to pedal it, and then he kind of come back up on him, but couldn't get there. And but that's racing and tuning around the weather and dealing with it. You know what I mean? So and Spencer's not the type to like he don't want to get outrun. He would rather like spin or wheelie and lose. So that's kind of how he
yeah,
does it. You know,
that was
but
cool to see Jazzy go though.
yeah, yeah.
Get some
I,
rounds.
yeah, I
Or
think,
around. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I just seen. I walked up when they were running. I got to eighth mile, and I was like, "Wow, it was a tight race."
yeah, they were naked. Like, I don't know. There's no tickets, right? So the only way you would know is compare tickets, I guess, to see what the margin was.
I
But
was at the eighth mile. It's tight, dude. I
yeah,
was
it had to
right
be
there.
like, had to be a wheel or something, you know. And, but I think he lost the next round. And then, Brendan Tyree, which has been doing it for a minute, he won, I'm pretty sure. Um, the reason I
Yeah,
said that
you're
was
right.
because, well, somebody called me and was like, "It looks like your boy won." I'm like, "What?" And he was like, "Heavy hitters." I'm like, "No," because that bike has a maroon frame and it looks just like TikTok. You
It
know?
does. It does kind of
Yeah,
look like it now that I got it pulled up.
yeah,
I see.
yeah, yeah. But
Um,
yeah, I think that's about it for the Platinum General Services Spring Nationals at XDA. I think that
yeah.
Um, we had a good
Shout.
time. We got some Foxy Fish. I didn't get freaking blue crabs from Foxy Fish, and I was devastated Thursday. I ate crab legs, which was good. But shout out to Lisa, your Uncle Walt's girlfriend. She said, "Hey, they got blue crabs 9 miles down the road on Saturday when you guys were actually making your test pass. I was eating blue crabs, and and
You
that was
got him.
cool. I got them. She went. I handed her some money and said, "Go get all you can get with this," and we all sit down and eat them. And I don't know how many people eat them. I know it was like the first spot was like, yes, that is what I've been wanting for 3 months. And it was great. And I'm super thankful that she did that. It was very thoughtful and caring for her to even look it up and go get them even. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
she went to get them and I told her to keep the change and she brought my change back. You know, I didn't even care about that. You know, I was just wanting to get my fix.
You
You
had to
know,
get them crabs.
I was
Foxy
getting them.
fish was good though. Foxy
Foxy
fish
Fish
was
was
good.
good, always is. They just didn't. The lady, even the manager talked to us. You know, she said she was just picky about what they got. But I will say that she needs to find out where that place is getting them at because they were
They were
phenomenal.
good. They were big
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah. You eat some. I mean, there was a bunch
I ate
of
some
us in there.
claws.
Yeah,
I was being lazy. I just ate some of
yeah,
the claw meat.
Now I like to have one right now. Man, them things are
Yeah.
good. Whew.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
kind of got worried. I ate so many of them. I'm like, I'm going to get sick off of eating all this.
No, you'd
But
be all right. You'd be all right.
yeah, yeah.
It was a good weekend overall. We had fun. That's the main goal. That's what everybody's goal should be at the racetrack, to have fun. It was weird just because all the changes and everything, but like we said, shout out to XDA and Jason and Chris and their entire staff because they made some hard calls, I'm sure, on their end, and it went about flawlessly, like you come to expect from XDA. So, you know, but they work hard. They work their asses off every event, and that's kind of what you get. So, appreciate them getting everything ready for us racers and taking good care of us. And shout out to everybody that raced. And not everybody can win, so just hope everybody had a great time.
Yeah, and even orchestrating around the weather stuff, it was a challenge for them, and they done a phenomenal job and nailed it. Starting early, Saturday really helped us get it done. I mean, only thing they could have done maybe a little better was tell the pros to be up there sooner, but they got to have so much time to turn the pros around, so it wasn't logical. So everything worked out mint. I mean, they cleaned up a couple boo boos here and there quickly. We had one guy all the entire track down, and I don't even know if he had a diaper, if he needed one or whatever. They were actually hollering at him on the PA to pull over, and he didn't. And they cleaned that up
That
pretty
was
quick.
quick though, because I
Yeah,
remember hearing that on the PA, and
and not long
I
after
think
we were
even
back
Jason,
racing.
yeah, I think even Jason was like, "How we're gonna be down for an hour, hour and a half," and like it was like 30 minutes. Like, dude, I
Yeah,
was like, "Holy crap!"
maybe he did have a diaper, and
Yeah,
that's why it didn't do as bad. Maybe I don't know the situation
yeah.
on that. Uh,
One thing I've been slacking on, I do want to say this, and you did kind of touch on it earlier. So I did try my best to put together a schedule. This is something I want to do every week. Just to kind of shout out who's racing the upcoming week. So Dustin already mentioned NHDRO opens up their season at Muncie Dragway this coming weekend. And then I also have the AHDRA, so the All Harley Drag Racing Associations at Rockingham. And that's all I have on my schedule that I compiled. If anybody's listening, know of any other series or anything, just email us your schedule so I can add it. You know, as we've said before, one of the goals is to kind of promote the sport as a whole. So that's why we also said earlier, we're not throwing shade at anybody. We were just singing praises for XDA because everybody hears about, a race or whatever when it doesn't go right, but not enough are we sharing the great stories. So that's why Dustin and I were praising XDA. But, um, also want to keep up with everybody. So NHDRO and AHDRA this coming weekend. If anybody has anything else, email us. Email us your schedule. Something I want to do every week is tell you guys places to go race because we got to keep these racetracks going and alive.
yeah, since you brought that up, so my local track apparently has been for sale for a few months, and
I seen that. I feel like you
it,
and I could go in together if we sold all our shit and buy
I don't want to run a racetrack, man. There's too many people complaining.
it.
I do think that the track is well worth. What was it, 599,000 or
It
whatever?
was cheap for a
30,
racetrack that's operational. I'll
yeah,
say
and
that.
and 30 something acres of land.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the land. That's what scares me is the land's worth that. But
Yeah. Now, does it butt
um,
up to the lake or something? Because in the
yeah,
overhead.
the lake is like across the road, kind of.
Oh, okay.
It might be even over the hill. Like I've never went down in the
Yeah.
woods and ventured there, but I've grown up at that place, and it was redone like in 2000, and it was great, man. It was like they call the cars up, and it was come up to lane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I remember hearing them say it over and over, and management issues and different lease owners, and it kind of just gets a little iffy. I do want it to stay open, and me and the owners aren't like the best of friends because I used to race cars there, and they kicked me off the island unexpectedly. I just don't like people to be, nice to my face and then turn me away. But anyway, I was a loyal customer, raced there Friday and Saturday all the time, every weekend. I do think that track's made me the racer that I am. Racing with the cars is probably one of the best ways to get better or go broke that you could do because they're going to wear you out. If I was wealthy enough to buy it, I would go and buy that track and then tell them they couldn't race there just to see how they
Oh
liked it.
man.
If they're lucky, I'm not rich because I would buy it and I would tell them they couldn't race there and see how they like it. But I would like, yeah, I would. I don't know. Or do you know Richard Newman? Like Richard Newman's a guy that lives
Yeah,
two
I know
roads
who that
away from
is. Yeah.
Cherokee Raceway Park, and he can't race there because he was excessive braking or something one night and locked the tires up, and they banned him. So
Yeah, he's a good foot breaker.
yeah, poor
Well, he
management.
was.
Poor
Yeah.
management. Their turnouts ain't that great. The track is not doing good. It has a ton of potential. There's a couple little things the track that could be fixed, and it would be a banger if you had a good, ambitious person out there doing it. But
But the
either
main thing is to keep this sport alive.
yeah, I know, right? So I mean, like I said, if I was wealthy enough, I would like to, it'd be cool to own a racetrack. I'm not Cletus McFarland. I can't pull it off, I don't think.
Uh-huh.
But I think that for the success of racetracks these days, some of that backwards racing, man, is where it's going to be. Like people are into that stuff. And we've got a lot of streetcar guys around here now. It's growing pretty quick. I mean, hell, I've become one. You know what I mean? I've got
Yeah.
a G8 that's a streetcar. It's pretty cool. But if I had a racetrack, I would try to, accommodate more different styles of racing. And let's just be real about it. If they're racing backwards, no prep, you don't have the expense of prepping the track. You don't have fuel for the tractors. You just got the lights on, keep it safe. Maybe have a concession stand rolling, pay your workers, roll. But
Hmm.
I hope they figure it out because it's 20 minutes from my house and I haven't been there in probably about a year and a half, but I've always considered it an option if I needed to go test or something. I'd hate for it to be gone. But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just,
for sure.
um, it's had several different owners, and there's one guy that I'm thinking of that if he bought it, I'd probably go there more often. But I hope it stays. We lost Huntsville. We just keep losing. Atlanta was a big one. That
Texas, whichever one, the one
yeah,
is it Motorplex at Texas, right? They started tearing that down.
yeah, and then
Englishtown, right?
someone said Brandomir, I think might be going away.
Vandermeer. So
Vandermeer, yeah.
yeah, I just read an article on that. It sounds like it pretty much is after this year, but I don't know if they're tearing it down. It sounds like they've just had so much pressure from Denver growing in town that they're actually sounds like they're looking for a new location, which obviously would be a project. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, the main takeaway is this, we're losing way more tracks than we're gaining them. So, even
Um,
if even if you can just make it to an extra race this year, whether it's local or more regional, whatever. Like I said, we just want to shout out some of the races coming up. So I hear you on your
well,
typewriter.
yep. So Harvey did mess me back. Harvey, his 2-year-old son was sick. So
Oh man, all right.
hope your son feels better. We'll see you at Virginia, buddy.
Yeah, we hate to hear that, man, because you're a tough racer and we missed seeing you. So
Yeah,
that's a valid excuse. So we'll take
and
that
the
one.
and the potential butt kickings you could have give us.
Yeah,
I
well
might
that
I might
part
not
I
have
don't
won top
miss.
sportsman if he
You
was
probably
there.
might
You know
not
what
have. Yeah,
I mean?
he's tough. He's
Yeah,
tough.
no kidding. Yeah, for sure.
Um, you got anything else, man? Or are we gonna shut this one down?
I think we recapped the race,
We hope
and
we did a pretty good job. We didn't touch every single class or every single thing, but
I feel
yeah,
like we touched what we was involved in, and I
the
hope that
best we could.
my old granny voice didn't bother anybody. At least it's nice and soft and not all, loud. Because I can't be loud. Either way, we do appreciate you guys listening. All the feedback is awesome. Like it's crazy, all the positive feedback we get, and
Yeah, seriously.
maybe
It's
at some point we'll get our ugly mugs so you can stare at us talking and me moving my hands around when I'm talking because that's what I do. But
well, I'm serious. If and I know I said to kind of begin with, but if so many people hadn't gave us such good feedback this past weekend, I might have texted you earlier and be like, "Man, let's skip it or something." Not in general. I'm just saying like
do it
you just have
Thursday
so
or
much
something.
going on. Yeah, we
Right.
might have had to push it back a day for y'all, but we know everybody enjoys it, so we're just trying to keep everything rolling because
Well,
y'all are
y'all know
supporting
me.
us.
I'll do it whether I'm sick or whatever because I've done it before and you've done it before. We just try to keep everybody. We want to keep you in something to listen to on
Yeah.
Wednesdays, and you'll have it. And you're welcome, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, we're gonna bring more enthusiasm next week. That's my goal, at least.
I
We might even do a live one next week. It's hard to say.
Yeah,
Or
even
an
if I'm
interview.
enthusiastic right now, you probably couldn't tell it with my
Yeah,
voice.
That's what I mean. Um,
I mean, hang on a
excuse
minute.
me. I'm losing my
Woo!
voice.
I won top sportsman at Pro ET. How about that? That as good as it gets.
Congratulations, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations. You're already crushing my dreams of a top sportsman championship after one weekend. It's awesome.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
It's all right. I shouldn't have said
Yeah.
it. That's what I should have just not raced for him this year. As soon as I said it, I'm out first round and watching you win, which hey, if I gotta watch somebody, at least it's one of my friends, right?
Well, I mean, I'm always racing to win. The championship thing just kind of comes. Let's be real. I was racing for the doll hairs in this situation. You know, that little deal, you know, 2 grand to win top sportsman, then you fall over to Pro ET, which
Oh
pays
yeah, yeah,
five
for
grand,
sure.
is a money maker. And you got to pay, what is it, $105 to race?
It's a
I
hell of a
think.
deal.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
why I stopped
I'm
running
a
Real Street.
champion, so I didn't have to pay. I was Pro AT champion last year, so I didn't have to even pay to get in it. So
Yeah.
it's a money maker. Like just like you just now said, you can have a stock motor Gen 2 Busa sitting at 68 inches and race for $5,000, or you can have a $30,000 or $40,000 Real Street bike and race for whatever it pays. You know, which I don't
Two
even think.
grand.
Yeah, okay. Now,
That's not
real
throwing shade at Real Street either. It's just
no, it's not. It's just the facts of money, you know. And Real Street is the racers that race Real Street are racers that want to go fast, and there's a difference. And I mean, you can go fast in Pro AT if you want, but you know it's different. It's a heads up racing. It's different than what we do, and some people don't like letting off the gas, so they don't
be
do that.
easier if we didn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, if we could just go out the back door, well, I'd be screwed because I'm fat, so I'd never be fast enough to win. But you know, we do
No, I
appreciate.
know. I mean, I know you're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. It just,
Yeah,
excuse me. We kind of said we wanted to openly discuss some goals. So I kind of
yeah,
came up with that one. It'd be nice. I
yeah.
mean, it's not over, but
Oh no, look.
I'm not off to a good start. I'll put it that way.
So I was driving home and someone mentioned the point soon. I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been a
Oh,
friend of
me or
mine.
Jimmy.
And I was like, I'm not worried about like 560. My bike didn't shift. I lost third round. Last year I lost first round, and I still won the championship.
Yeah.
So realistically, I mean, one bad race is okay. Now, 2 bad races is bad,
Yeah.
and 3 bad races, you're probably in trouble, but
Oh, for sure.
it's a long year. This old boy could go the next race and kick it red round one and you can win. Then we'll be the same. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I don't hope that, but I do hope that I do better, and I'm going to work on it.
yeah,
So we'll get that.
I hope to see you in the final and then see you in the final of the next one. That'd be cool.
I do want to race you again and actually turn the green light on for once in a couple of times so we can race
Yeah.
because it's been a while.
I'm gonna buy freaking earplugs to put in my trailer.
Yeah, we'll be
Your
all right.
bike's loud. I'm doing a burnout and I can hear yours over mine. I'm like, what is? I can't even tell what my bike
switch
sounds like.
bikes. We'll switch bikes.
Yeah, you better hook that VPS back up. Jesus.
It's hooked. You'll be all right.
Oh, noting that's something. You did have a VPS mount come loose and cause your bike to shut off making a test pass, right? Qualifying or something. So
Yeah,
that was another
it lost some
curveball
power.
that
It
that
lost
Ben
some
had.
power. Eric
Yeah.
fixed that real quick though.
Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't even know what that is. I'm not even gonna go into detail. That's a secret, man. You telling secrets now.
Oh, sorry. Google it. Anyway,
Yeah,
we appreciate
so-
everybody. I hope we had a
Yep.
good show for you.
Yep, sorry we're all losing our voices. Maybe next week will be good. Shout out to the sponsors. We thank them: Worldwide Bearings, MPS Racing, Penske Racing Shocks, MTC Engineering, Platinum General Services, Schnitz Racing, Manchester Mines, Montgomery Motorsports, Hard Times Parts and Service, Night Marketing Group, Energy Coil, University of Wind, and BMF Motorsports. And Tiffany asked me, she said, why do you say the sponsors twice? I said, because they deserve to be heard twice, if not more. We try and talk about them all during the show as we can too. So, but hey, the main thing is they're supporting us, and all the listeners and subscribers are supporting us, and that's what matters. So we got to talk about as much as we can. So appreciate everybody.
Yeah, no doubt. We appreciate y'all.
Oh, and what we're gonna do a giveaway next week. So we'll have a giveaway next week. We could have an interview. We could do a Facebook Live. We're not sure. We'll have more sleep though, and be better for next week. So we love y'all.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing else, man. I'm ready.
That's all I got. Peace out.
I'm gonna go get my Girl Scout cookies I got from you and Harper from this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, that and a glass of milk. So
Sounds good.
all right. See y'all.
See ya.